Hi everyone, I'm getting ready to start chapter 24 of Because of Winn-Dixie. Me and the preacher started walking and calling Winn-Dixie's name. I was glad it was raining so hard because it made it easier to cry. And I cried, and the whole time I was calling for Winn-Dixie. Winn-Dixie, I screamed. Winn-Dixie, the preacher shouted, and then he whistled loud and long, but Winn-Dixie didn't show up. We walked through the downtown. We walked past the Dewberry's house and the Herman W. Block Memorial Library and Sweetie Pie's yellow house and Gertrude Pett's. We walked out to the Friendly Corners trailer park and looked underneath our trailer. We walked all the way out to the Open Arms Baptist Church of Naomi. We walked past the railroad tracks and right on down Highway 50. Cars and rushing past, and then tailgates glowed red like mean eyes staring at us. "Daddy," I said. "Daddy, what if he's got run over?" Opal. Excuse me. We can't worry about what might have happened. All we can do is keep looking. We walked, and in my head, I started on a list of 10 things that I knew about Winn-Dixie. Things I could write on big old posters and put around the neighborhood. Things that would help people look for him. Number 1 was he had a pathological fear of thunderstorms. Number 2 was he liked to smile using all his teeth. Number 3 was he could run fast. Number 4 was that he snored. Number 5 was that he could catch mice without squishing them to death. Number 6 was he liked to meet people. Number 7 was he liked to eat peanut butter. Number 8, he was excuse me, guys. He couldn't stand to be left alone. Number 9 was he liked to sit on couches and sleep in beds. Number 10, he didn't mind going to church. I kept on going over and over the list in my head. I memorized it the same way I had memorized the list of the 10 things about my mama. I memorized it so if I didn't find him, I would have some part of him and hold on to him. But at the same time, I thought of something I had never thought of before. And that was that list of things couldn't even bring to show somebody the real Winn-Dixie. And just like a list of 10 things that couldn't even imagine to get to know my mama. And thinking about them, that made me cry even more. "But Daddy," I said, "Winn-Dixie's out there somewhere. We can't leave him." "Opal," said the preacher, "we have looked, and there's only so much looking we can do. I can't believe you're going to give up," I told him. "India, Opal," the preacher said, rubbing his nose, "don't argue with me." I stood and stared at him, and the rain had let up some. It was a mostly drizzle now. "It's time to head back," the preacher said. "No," I told him. "You should go, but I'm going to keep on looking." "Opal," the preacher said in a real soft voice, "it's time to give up." "You always give up," I shouted. You've always been pulling your head inside your stupid old turtle shell. I bet you didn't even go out looking for Mama when she left. I bet you just let her run off too." "Baby," the preacher said, "I couldn't stop her. I tried. Don't you think I want her to stay too? Don't you think I miss her every day?" He spread out around his arms all around me and then dropped them to his sides. "I tried," he said. "I tried." And then he did something I couldn't believe. He started to cry. The preacher was crying. His shoulders were moving up and down, and he was making snuffy noises. And don't believe that losing Winn-Dixie doesn't upset me as much as it does you, he said. "I love that dog. I love him too." "Daddy," I said. I went and I wrapped my arms around his waist. He was crying so hard, he was shaking. "It's all right," I told him. "It's okay." "Shh," I said to him like he was a scared little kid. "Everything will be okay." We stood there hugging and rocking back and forth, and after a while the preacher stopped shaking, and I still held on to him. I finally got the nerve to ask the question I wanted to ask. "Do you think she's ever going to come back?" I whispered. "No," the preacher said. "No, I don't. I've hoped and prayed and dreamed about it for years, but I don't think she'll ever come back. Gloria says that you can't hold on to anything, that you can only love what you got while you got it." "She's right," the preacher said. "Gloria Dump is right. I'm not ready to let go of Winn-Dixie," I said. I had forgotten about him for a minute, what with thinking about my mama. "We'll keep looking," said the preacher. "The two of us will keep looking for him, but do you know what? I just realized something, India Opal. When I told you your mama took everything with her, I forgot one thing, one very important thing that she left behind." "What?" I asked. "You. Thank God your mama left me you." And he hugged me tighter. "I'm glad I've got you too," I told him, and I meant it. I took hold of his hand, and we started walking back into town calling and whistling Winn-Dixie the whole way.